All right, let's see if this is going to work. Gosford, unfortunately, I don't have time to meet with you over the weekend, so I just thought I would go through this report and talk about some things that I saw that you could do differently, and hopefully have a better report here. So the first thing I noticed is you have a filter for the customer posting group down here, as opposed to an option in the top right, just for organization's sake and so that I don't lose track of things. I'm going to put the customer posting group up here. And what I'll actually do is I'll just copy this text and paste it up here, and then put a cell reference to grab it. It's always nice to have lookups when you have options like so that you can look up different values. So I'm going to write in here an equals NL lookup function to the customer posting group table and get a list of codes and descriptions. And did I spell that correctly? No, I got a pound value. Let me unfreeze pane so we can see everything. Got a pound value. Let me check my data source. Am I still pointing at nav? I'm pointing at stock nav. Maybe it's called name instead of description. Nope. Oh man, I don't want to spend too much time on this because I do have to, unfortunately I have to run out the door is really what the story is. So code exists, but any sort of description field does not apparently. Okay, so we'll just run with code, fine. Good, so why is this not working? Okay, for right now I'm going to replace this text with a star so that it works with standard nav, but just copy in the original values when you get your report back, which I'll just highlight up here in yellow. That's the original values, just paste it into here. All right, and now what do I have? I'm going to put this cell reference to my options where it should be. So make a list of all salesman shipment headers where the document date is, and I'm just going to put in a star for document date just because, again, fake nav, limited data set. Okay, so let's take a look at what you did in your report here. I'm noticing here you have an NL first for your promised ship date, another NL first. All of these NL firsts are pointed at the sales shipment header. You have another NL first at sales shipment header, or here's your NL rows. Then you have NL first, NL first, NL first, NL first. These are all to the same table. And then an NL sum to the sales shipment line. So the way I would do this just a little bit different, and this is also going to set you up if you have to do multi-company reporting, which is something you hinted at, and I guess we'll have to talk a little bit more specifically about what you're looking for later. But here you're doing an NL first of the requested delivery date, and the field you're choosing to show is promised ship date, which is a little bit interesting. But anyway, I'm just going to paste that value up here above. Actually, I'm just going to do it this way. I'm just going to take this column, copy it, paste it above, and you'll see why I'm doing this shortly. Let me remove the formatting. Okay, now in nav, the invoice date is called the posting date, and I think that's what you actually put in here for your function. Days is some sort of a math thing. Status, again, a math thing. Document number is just called number on the header. Customer number, in this case, is the cell to customer number. Customer name, you did the cell to customer name. Order number is order number. Quote number is quote number. Ship to name is the same. Customer posting group is actually spelled out, and then this is an NL sum. Okay. So when you see everything is basically coming from the same table and you're doing a bunch of NL firsts, what you can do is use a data dump model, which is the same as one of my tutorial videos shows you how to build a report using the browser. It's the same thing. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to make this column my new NL rows function. So I'm going to take your NL rows that you put over here, and I'm going to move it into this column. And to do a data dump, you just leave the field argument blank. Again, if you did this using drag and drop out of the browser, you'd get the same result. You get NL rows, sales shipment header. You would add in your filters. The results would be the same. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't think you want to filter by document date. I'm pretty sure you want to filter by posting date, just because document date is kind of an amorphous field in Nav. It can change pretty regularly. Again, I'm pretty sure posting date is the way you want to go. So I'll put a note in here. Did you want to filter by posting date? Just check and be sure, but most people choose to filter by posting date, and I'm going to make this red so it jumps out at you. Okay, this here is what we called a record key. It is a pointer to the first or to a field in Nav. So you can see that my data source is called Nav. The company I'm using is Cronus International Limited. And here is the table number for the sales shipment header. And then field 310029, that is the ID for a document in the sales shipment header table. That's basically the document number. All of what I said doesn't really matter. What I want you to know is to make a record key or to do a data dump, you have to leave the field argument blank. And I can show you this in the function wizard. Okay, the field argument is blank. Now, because I have a record key, instead of using a bunch of NL firsts, what I'm going to end up doing is use an NF function. Now, the NF function is different than NL first. The NF function says, what field do you want to extract from Nav? And if I put in this record key, then it says, okay, which record do you want me to look at? And then I can say, oh, I want you to retrieve the requested delivery date. And if I just change this value here, I could say, I want you to retrieve the document. I want you to retrieve the field called number, or I want you to retrieve the field called sell to customer number. Right, and these values will change. So you'll use NF functions to build everything that you did with an NL first. And this report is ultimately going to be a lot faster as the volume of data scales. So I'm just going to do a cell reference here instead of typing in the names because I'm lazy. And then I'm going to copy and paste across into anywhere that I see an NL first function. Okay, so again, what you're seeing here is you're seeing a fake database. But yeah. Now your NL sum is still great. You have this NL sum of sales shipment line quantity, and then I just need to change the cell reference. The document number is no longer in C. The document number is still in column I, and your dollar signs are correct. I'm kind of concerned about the quantity you used, but I guess you would know best. What kind of quantities do you have? You have quantity invoiced, quantity sales shipment. So what did you ship versus what did you invoice? You don't have an outstanding quantity on here. Do you have a remaining? Nope. Okay. All right, so quantity shipped will have to work. This report is now going to be technically faster, but at the very least it will recreate all of the stuff that you originally had. Now, you did in your message say something about multi-company reporting. Ooh, why are you so slow though? My computer's being kind of slow these days. You did say something about multi-company reporting, and assuming that you mean multiple companies as in Nav you can have multiple companies, I'll show you how to address that. Okay, so here's the report that you had. Obviously in Nav my data set is fake, but you can see some data coming through here. For my fake data there is no requested delivery date, but obviously for your live data you'll get a result. And just decide if you meant requested delivery date or promised shipment date, because both of those fields exist. Actually, I'm going to put a note over the top here. Okay. Good. That's good. So multi-company reporting. Okay, assuming that what you really meant is I have multiple companies in nav and I want to show multiple companies in the same report, which to me seems a little bit weird, but I'm just going to assume that I understood you correctly. Let me make some space here at the top. All right, let me move this up. So multi-company reporting. In my fake database, I just have Cronus International Limited. But what you would do here is you would say, okay, here are the companies that I want to show in my report. So maybe I have a company A, and then a company B, and a company C, right? Maybe I have multiple companies, which you would see in this drop down here. All right, to facilitate multiple companies, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an option so that you can get a list of all of the different companies. So again, the NL lookup function only works with the options dialog box, but what it does is it defines a lookup function for use. That doesn't really describe anything. It makes a list of values to choose from. So in nav, there's a table called company, and it's got one field in it, I believe, called name. Okay. And when I run my report here, because I added this NL lookup function, when I click on the arrow for company, I can see a list of companies. It would be the same list that you have over here. Obviously, I only have one company, but you might have many. And I'll show you customer posting groups. Again, I've just got these three, but you would see your set of customer posting groups, right? That's what the NL lookup function does. For right now, I'm going to put a star here to say list out all companies. And then to do multi-company reporting, depending on how you want it, you can either do it as an NL rows or you can do it as an NL sheets where you make one sheet per company, up to you. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a column called company to my report, and I'm going to highlight it in yellow so you can find it later. And basically all I'm going to do is write NL rows company name, where the name is in this set of values that I selected. Okay, so as you know, with an NL rows function, it'll make a list, in this case, of all of the companies that exist in my nav database. For me, I just have one, but for you, you might have many. And then to make sure that this NL rows function filters by this company, you have to add in company equals. So by adding in company equals, I will override whatever the default company is up here and then tell my report to filter by the company that's in C23. So if you can imagine, when this report runs, the first thing it'll do is it'll list out all of my company names. So it would, it would insert a copy of this row for each company, and this would be company A, company B, company C. And then over here, this NL rows function would say, okay, list out all of shipment headers in this company, list out all the shipment headers in that company, list all the shipment headers in that company. Let me take that out. Now, if it makes more sense to have one sheet per company, again, just change this with sheets. Now, the last thing to remember about company equals is if you use company equals anywhere on one report, all of your NL functions should also have company equals as well. So I have an NL rows function here. I replaced all these with NFs, so they're fine, but this last NL sum also needs the company equals argument. think that covers it. When I run this report, I'm going to add lookup plus hide. Let's hide this column because there's nothing informative in there. The only thing that's going to be different is that you now have a new column called company, which again I will highlight, or this time I will just copy this formatting here. Just so you can Google what is this thing here, in JET vernacular, this is called a record key. It's also called a data dump. And I know I've done a couple tutorial videos about record keys and data dumps. In fact, let me see if I can find it. Yep, this is the article you want. No, that's filtering. Sorry. Didn't I do one on replication? Dang it. I know I did. No. Okay, here is the article, a link to the article about replication. And again, I'm going to just highlight this. I'm not going to do red again. That's such an abrasive color. I'll do a, oof, no. Let's do a deep green. Okay, so that's a link to this article here. And it talks about field caches at the beginning, but what you're looking for is this business here about record keys, working with record keys, reading a record key, and actually, if you keep on reading, it compares it to summary lists and field caches, which are similar but different. Okay. Good. And I'll make a note. If you want to replace rows with sheets. Cool. Good. That's all I wanted to go over. I really like what you did with the net working days here. That was such a really cool design. I haven't seen that too often, or at all, ever. So I really like what you did here in this report. And it was just a little small thing, changing all of these NL firsts to NFs. And then I hope I gave you the information you were looking for with regards to doing the multi-company reporting. Yeah, if you have any other questions, let me know. I will make this recording available on Dropbox and send you a link, and otherwise I'll just send you this report. All right, catch you later, bye.